Morning. So we're gonna try to photograph some rabbits today. It's really nice. There's some fog. I wish I was a landscape photographer, but it was looking pretty nice. I'll give you an overview of the sunrise here. But more so, we're gonna actually let me give you an overlook of what the landscape looks like here. We'll kind of fly it up. All right, so in photographing rabbits, there's a few techniques I kind of want to go over with you guys. But if you look at the landscape, how things are mapped out here, we have a big kind of an open pasture that's been mowed or plowed, and then we have a whole bunch of high weeds, trees, and all that kind of stuff. So if we look at this, what rabbits like to do, obviously early in the morning, late at night, they like to kind of pop out of these high weeds where they have their cover, and they actually, kind of stretch their legs, eat a little, but they're usually pretty close to these high weeds. So they have the fringes, which you'll see the landscape here. They have their fringes that they'll pop out maybe 5 or 10 feet, but generally they don't get caught out in the middle of the field. If you think about it, that makes sense, right? So you have coyotes, fox, and everything else. If they get caught out in the middle, they can't escape. Generally, they're very agile. They can bolt in the weeds, hide, cannot be found. So this makes sense. But what we have to do then is, if we're moving if we're moving through this, is we want to kind of position ourselves between the rabbit and the edge of the cover that they're going to try to get into, and we'll slowly work our way in there. But the technique, as you can see, is kind of pinpoint and kind of become a wedge. And then that way is because if you come in from the far angle, let's say the center of the field, you're just going to push them right back into the weeds. And so if you can kind of between that wedge between them, you can push them a little bit further, you wait a little bit, you wait a little bit, and you push them a little bit further, and they'll generally get used to you, and they'll kind of accept you being there. But again, the bigger the silhouette, if you come in from the main field and try to photograph them, generally they just bolt right back into the weeds. Let's get going. Let's see what we can do. Moving around. So one of the definite techniques here is not to go down really quick, because if you think about it, these rabbits have animals that are chasing them. One of the big things, if you ever watch big cats in Africa or just plain cats, what do they do before they strike? They actually go down, they kind of rear up, and that will kind of shock them. It's either that or it's the contrast in the silhouetting you're doing, where it's a big change where you just immediately go down. You have someone that's 5-6 foot tall, immediately they go down to the ground. It scares them. So it's kind of one of those gradual things. You'll know when you get close, because they start pointing another way and they start rearing up on their back end like they're going to go that way. And that's when you've hit your limit, and you basically just kind of slowly kind of go back down to the ground, and that's about as close as you're going to get for a while. Now you can kind of crawl in a little bit closer as things progress, but initially, if you're walking as a 5 or 6 foot person towards them, you're going to be scaring them a little bit. All right, so we got this little guy here. Got this main field. He's up there a little bit. Let's see if we can approach him. I'm going to get a little bit over here to the right. And yeah, he's peeked his head up. Okay, you can see the rabbit out there. He's a ways out there. I'm going to try to he's in the shadows, so I'm going to get some black and white or some contrast shots. Can't really do much with him here. Show you what I'm talking about. Kind of keeps moving out in the field a little more. I just can't get a good angle. He's in the shadows. Hopefully he'll come out. But yeah, you kind of see him way out there. Just a waiting game. Now I have two of the rabbits out here playing, but they're like 2 feet away from lighting. Just a couple feet away there in the shadows. Okay guys, I got one right in front of me. I'm trying to get down. I'm not even gonna switch over the camera actually, so just hold up here. Pretty close. Switch this down. Hold on here. Here we go. I'll show you this guy here in a sec. I'll throw some video up here. Kind of captured some video of them moving around. Pause this. Camera's overheating. Look at you, camera. Wow. All right, you guys seen that last little part there? Field over in the open field. There was two little rabbits. They came in about 10 yards out into the field. Heard some hawks or something, just bolted and left. And so the larger rabbits, they'll kind of come out a little bit further. But again, you know, it's kind of one of those things that are in the shadows. They didn't give me much to work with. They wouldn't come out in the main light, which is harder to get a photograph. You know, I wanted that front lighting, a portrait lighting. Didn't happen. But I think I got some photos here. And kind of mentioned you guys kind of over here, kind of sitting down. I'll post those here in a sec. And I appreciate it, guys. Hopefully I'll see you next week.